Okay, today is October 16th, Saturday. This is Jonty. We're here to learn some Circassian. Dalfashitka.
غددو
Dalwadidda.
خرزنش
Kharzinash. Sorry, Kharzina.
Sorry.
Zgor E.
Oh,
Did go pamshish zgor E. Hamra. Sorry, Kharzina. Sorry, Kharzinash.
سوري خرزنش سجوبا
Lunchta.
دوا وشت
Sari se Kharzinash. Sari se Kharzinash. Se ekraner flauren.
انت
Ekran. Ekran. It's a Russian loan word because Circassians 200 years ago did not have computers. So ekran is the computer screen. And then I ask if you plural see it. Flauren. Do you guys see it?
yeah.
Have you guys seen this slide before?
Yeah,
Oh, we have? In the Saturday class, you've seen this slide before?
yeah.
Okay. Okay. So let's walk around the story a little bit, right? Let's just walk around the story a little bit. And let's remember when I say class,
sit
Argoro, class,
Sit.
sitsa,
وش
hawa, sasa shalakam,
روباتي
sasa robach, sasa robach, once. Alam yitzar sit. Alam yitzar nar. Nart khajabs. Hama robot. Nart shalash.
هوا نار تشالش
Ham yitzar sit.
Abreg.
Abreg zok hamayin.
Abreg.
Abreg zoks. Abreg ha. Hama jaddu.
Abreg
hash. Nart ha.
هوا
Awa.
نار
Nart alash. Nart yin. Hamat zok. Nart zoks. Onsta. Hatsadokwa. Class.
sit
Nart nashich sha'ash. Nart nashich sha'ash. Ooh. Okay. Ramzi,
sit
what dana was sha'a?
سا نيو جيرسي شقش
Sa New Jersey sha'ash.
سا نيو جيرسي شقش
Aha. Satanai.
Sit. Me or
Satanai hubrak.
oh yeah, sit.
Ramzi dana sha'a.
Ramzin New Jersey. شقش ما
Aha. Paj. Ramzi New Jersey sha'ash. Washa. What dana was sha'a?
سا ضحى شقش
والضحى والشقاش. خنش. تمام. Albert.
Sit.
What dana was sha'a?
Sassy Williams a shot.
We winner was sha'ash.
Yeah.
We winner dana's the sha'ar.
New Jersey and shot.
New Jersey sha'ash.
Yeah.
What dana was shish?
So American so shish.
American was shish.
Yeah.
Khunsh. Dimaza.
Yes.
Dana was shish.
Se Kayser sıçış.
Kaiser was shish. Kaiser was sha'a.
Ha.
Dana was
Se-
sha'a.
Se aydınım şıas.
What I didn't was sha'ash. Khunsh. Lalina.
sit
Egypt stew. Dana was sha'a.
سا كبرديش
قبردي والشقش ست خدا قالة ست خدا قواجة ونارتان والشقة ونارتقالة والشقة وناشتش والشقة
سنة شقشقة
ناشتش والشقش حلمتش حمزة
بلاغ
لا لينا دنز ذا الشعر
لالينا نالتشك شقش
نارتري نارت دن الشقة
سغب ششاس
نارت ناشت شقش أجرى
نارت مر نارت
انت وشا حمزة ودنا والشقة
سعودي أرابيا سشاش
ودنا والشش
دانا وشش ساعة يردانيوم سشش
حلمتش بيقان تمرقان دي قش تكفى فدنا في الشقة زورت قاعد في الشقاش حلمتش دنا في الشش جلكستني دريا سريع بخودش سري جلكستني سشش وي ست خد قواجة قان شوي ويفاش خنطقم سيش حوسر قان شوي شش
ويش حوسر دي شبخش دا
أرى ويونت صرست سيقوش وي ونت صرست جلحج أرجورو ويفاش خنطقم جلحج سيادي يثنقمتا تزبلاغ سيريم دي ثنقمتا
إبلاغة
يا قبلاغة سيقوافش
جلحج سيريا مش أمريكا مش جلحج جاريات
عارفي بلاغة
لا جلحج جارا نيوجيرسي دسخش أجل
تتصق من دونير
دا
مير تيسن دا
تركون شاهم يا شاريا ونتصر
وي ستتصق من ونر ما دونير وي سيقوافا مخ
خرزنا
So for the class, I asked these fine young boys where they're from, and they're from Khan Shui. The village of their father is Khan Shui. Khan Shui is my wife's village. Khan Shui is the village, actually, Islami. Khan Shui Bradach. So my village is Islami. Islami is next to Khan Shui. My wife is from Khan Shui, and my family is from Islami. انطاق قراءة مسابيخر راشي مرفوض راش جسار ففي قاجر سسي شحوسي قاجر زش سسي شحوسر مس قان شوي شش سسي قاجر اسلامي اسلاميش اسلامي امرا قان شوي امرا بغداتش يابم شغو اخر زقاجت او زمانم يتر عارف قاجيت مخ عطشة مست براك داوشت
صفش وداوشت
sorry وشتش عبقيتشر you're standing راسي جبن فيما ساسا تمامش ساسا خرزنش عارف ايش او ايما جبنش ساسا ايش وزن شاغسي اقم راسي والتمام تمامش ودنا والشقة
سي قيصر سشأش
قيصر والشقش دنا والشش
قيصر سشش
قيصر والشش أبو قش الخوا
سكريم سقشل خواش
خونش حلمتش وبسو هادي
ست
دنا والشقة
سي لندن سشش
لندن والشش أبو قش الخوا
قصدرو عم
did you grow up in London
هوا سي قيصر سشش
خونشتا عراشي وجبنش سكايسري سشش عوا يجبستو لندن وشقش
تا
خونشتا عراشي أرجور قجاء once again tell me يجبستو ميس يبتلت ما إكرانر يجبستو دنا وشقة
إجيبستو لندنم سشش
وشقش تمام تمام أماني
ست
ودنا وشقة
ده جبستو أبو ظبي الشقة
أبو دابي والشقاش أب ويقوري حرا
yes sorry I don't know what to say
خنش انت سيجروح
أنت سيجروح
انت دنا وشش
ده سيريام سوشش
سوسج قنيترا بجقة
سيادة قلنا ترامشش قفا
الشلخواش
خوش اوكي
الشلخواش انت علامات سيانري قنيترم شش سيانا يخلنقمشا زريجا ممخغ
yeah nice
سيغوابش
سري thank you
ستناي إسحاق وداو وشت
سا فلوريدام سش أش
أراقم سنو بصار
آه
وداو وشت سنو بصار
دغوة
داوا دنو وشش
سا فلوريدام سش شقة
أرجورو أراقم سنو بصار دنو وشش دنا وقش الخوار
سا سيريام سقش أخوار
سيري مقش الخواش أراشي جبفنوش وسيري مشش
سا سيريام سشش
عوا يجبستو وفلوريدا وشقش يجبستو
يجبستو فلوريدام سشش
Pez. I don't want you guys to memorize what you think I'm going to ask you. The point of the class is to construct language. The point of the class is to be thinking in the language. So I always try to mix things up a little bit so that you guys don't have a chance to memorize and cheat. So it's to help you guys think in the language. حجاب تيتو يترجانتي يمشى سيتاش قوقم ما بيتر بجددني عوا ودعوا شت نوبة يشبخ
سداو فدفة سداو في شت
ساريسة أبي زاكب زنجة سداو
سس خارزنا
دنا وشش
سا ريحانيم سشش
صوص ريحانية مشش انت إسرائيلي مشش سيغوابش مستا شابسو غبزة فددو بسلافرة
شابسغي أبزاخي
محنا زغورمصا قبرده يبزا زبغصن خوي ورا
جرا تاك زد غشات تعرف شو جرا فيديو خر زبسوي سلوخ دغدد
وبسو ويجري حاز دي فيديو خر
زي حسر سعاد قواش ابا
So why do you guys say video? There's no word for video in Circassian?
Yeah, it's called video.
فيديو أبزاخ فيديو شابسغ فيديو چمگوي فيديو
The international word for video is video, Ramsey.
In every language?
Just about. Acha, class.
Sit.
Majera. Arguaro, class.
Sit.
Don't what ditch. Nart was the velwa yes. Nart was the velwa yes. Oh. Who remembers what guzavagwa means?
Problem.
Problem, right? Gwa is heart. Gwa. Zev means tight. Gwa is heart. Zev means tight. Elwa means time. Elwa. Guzavagwa. Nart has a time where his heart becomes narrow. So he has a problem. It's like he has anxiety. He has anxiety. Okay. Does anybody in our class have a problem?
Hawa.
Hawa. Fapsori fakharzinas. Fakhazirma. Kharzinas. Adokwa. Class.
Sit.
Nart yiguzavagor sit. Subject ansh. What is Nart's problem? Subject ansh. I'll tell you. Nart se'af yaqam.
Oh.
Nart se'af yaqam. Ah. Atcha. Nart guzavagor ya'a.
Pej.
Yes. Yeah, Pej. Yes. Nart. Pse. Yeah.
Hawa.
Hawa. Nart. Coca-Cola. Yeah.
Hawa.
Nart. Maxima. Yeah.
Hawa.
Sit nart. Yeah.
Se'af yaqam.
Se'af yaqam. Se'af yaqam. Abish hacha. Because of that. Sitra nart. Yeah. What is it that Nart has?
Guzavagwa.
Guzavagwa. So let's see. Sit Nart Yisno. What's Nart gonna do? Nart psafwesh. Oh. Sit Nart where?
Se'af.
Psafwesh. Ramsey. What psafwea?
Hawa. Mountain Dew CS.
Mountain Dew weas.
Yes.
Mountain Dew where?
Pej.
Pej. Mountain Dew whesh.
Yes.
Suad.
Sit.
يشوف دشة. وبسقف وقع.
سأف سيأقم.
وجزفغو وقع.
حوا سجزفغو سيأقم.
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 ست وقع.
نارا ناربس سيئة.
ناربس.
نارا
Pomegranate.
أبارتايتش نارا it's
نار جدو. Pomegranate.
Yes.
ناربس.
ناربس سيشار.
ناربس وفويش.
فيش.
سيشار. وفن فويش. You want a drink. Okay. خنش. Hadi. Situfwe.
Squares.
Siwufwe.
Да.
Siwufwosha. Who knows what I just said?
Did you drink water?
No.
Drink.
Are you thirsty?
Thirsty.
Are you thirsty? So Circassians are very dramatic. Siwufwosha. Are you dying for water? Si is water. Wa is you. An is to die. And wuho, you're doing it for. Wuhosha. Siwuhosha. Are you thirsty? Are you dying for water? Okay. Siwuhosha hadi.
Sisхоша.
Федиду жупаш япаш. Федиду жупаш. Сетанай, хубрак.
Sit.
Psuia.
Singwia. هوا
هوا بس ويقم
سي أقم صح؟
بس وخوي
هوا
وخوي بس اوكي حاله ماتش اخشى كود وخوي اخشى كود وخوي
نطاق
اخشى
سا سفويش أخشى
اوكي خنش ستناي اسحاق و شي ويا شاي ويا
حوا شاي سي أقم
و بسقف ويا
سا سيئة
وبسراش ويا و كزفغو ويا حوا
كوزافاغو
خت كزفغو يا
نارت كوزافاغو يئة
نار كزفغو ياش تمام اماني
ست
و كوفي ويا
كوفي سي أقم بس
بسويا
يا بس سي أش
و زغورنا وش something else و زغورنا وش وخوي
ده تيس شاي فيش
شي وخويش
يس
انت
أنت
مفروض جاء سا
شاي
سخويش
سخيش
تمام
ده شاي سخيش
اوكي خنش براك
تت
وجوزفاغوي ويا
ت سي جوزافوغا سي اش
ستوي جوزفاغور
سي شي سيفنو سخويش
اي وشي وفنو وخويش our شي ويقم ست جوزفاغوشوا what a big problem we have to solve this problem كان تمركان
ست
فجوزفاغو فيها
هوا ديام
فأخشى كود فيها
أنت
تمام لامبورجيني فيها
أنت
لامبورجيني فيها زغور فخوي
ساشي سفند
وشي انت بك مش على نتسقر وزغور وخوي هوا وارزش
أنت
وي تمام تمامش حمزة
لا
و mountain dew ويا
حوا mountain dew سي اش سي أقم
شي ويا
حوا شي سي أقم
وزغور وخوي
سا كوكاكولا سي اش سكويش
ارامي كوكا كولا سي اش ابكودو جبما وخويقم وي اش if you have it you don't want it right you already have it you want something you don't have
okay
right so you could say ساسا تمامش سا كوكا كولا سي اش
كوكاكولا سي اش
لالينا
ست
و ترخون ويا
هاو ست تكون سيئة سيئة كن
ترخون وبصرة ست ترخونر
أنت
وبوشة ستر وترخون ويجريحرة ترخون ويجريحرقم و يجبستو شي ويا
هاو شيء سيكون
What's the guaruhe?
How?
Zri wuhuyakum. Wow.
Sushi cola fish.
Coca-Cola wuhuish. Khunsta. For everyone else, tarhun is it's a beverage that they sell in Nalchik. They make it in Nalchik. It's made from some sort of herb or weed or something. I love this stuff. It's like a green color. It has fizzy water in it. I can't get enough of it. So Lalina is a Nalchik, so I was asking her if she has tarhun, and she doesn't like tarhun, so that's her prerogative. Dimaza. Nart sitya.
Nart kuzewawo yiash.
Sich hacha.
Nart psaf huesh.
Pej. Nart psaf huesh. Nart psaf ya. Hawa. Wari wa psaf wi'a.
Siakam.
Wi'aqam. Wa zagwar wuhwe.
Nute.
Sit wuhwe.
Chocolates.
Shera chocolater wuhwe wara.
Nute.
All right, we're gonna go into the breakout rooms. Let me stop my share and let me share these slides. I'm gonna go into the chat. All right, I'm gonna give you guys 5 minutes. I'm gonna drop you into the breakout rooms. I'm gonna put 3 to a room. If you're comfortable, I would request that you turn on your video in the breakout rooms so that it's easier for you guys to talk to each other. And what I'd like you to do is look at slides 28, 29, and 30. And what I want each of you to do is ask each other, what do you have? What do you want? Right? And I want you to do this 2 or 3 times. Okay? So, and just think, and if you don't know the Circassian word, that's fine. You can use a different word. I want you to get comfortable saying, sa psisahwish, sa kofi sahwish, sa arshakwed sahwish, sa wizinshara sahwish. I want good health. So I want you to get comfortable just saying what you want. And then, so I want you to choose 2 things that you want. And then the other person, I want you to practice, what do you have? Do you have this? Do you have that? And I want you to practice with, I want sukwish, and I don't want sukwiqam. All right. So, Suad, let's practice you and I just real quick to show an example of what we're looking for here. So, Suad.
Sit.
What was in Shara Wahwe?
Nta sa usinsharo sife.
What was in Shara Wi'a?
Nta sa usinsharo sia.
What Lamborghini Wi'a?
Hawa sa siakam Lamborghini.
What?
Spayakam. Spy.
So and then the next part, what Lamborghini Wahwe? Hawa Sukwekum. So that's a great example. Just 2 things. 2 things you want, 2 things you don't want. Practice with each other. If you don't know the word, there's 3 of you in a group. Try to help each other, educate each other what that word is. If you really don't know what the word is, use English, Turkish word, German word, whatever you guys want. Okay. So I'm going to drop you now. There's going to be 6 rooms because there's 18 of you. I'm going to make sure you can share your screens. And let me pause the video recording. Sorry. Welcome back, everyone. So how were the breakout rooms?
It was good.
Good?
Nice. Very good.
Great, yeah.
Very well.
Nice.
Nice.
So was. All right, let's go back to the story here. Okay. Acha. Class.
Tet.
Sit.
Mechabarim. This story. Mechabarim. Chet Yisr. Who's in the story?
Chabarim, Nart,
Nart.
Nart Yish. Nart's in the story. Pej. Nart Sit.
Nart, Alish.
Nart Alash. Nart
Alash.
Alash. Nart Khajabs.
Hawa. Nart, Alish.
Nart Alash. Alar Chet. Nart. Nart Denasha'a.
Nart, Nartish.
Nashit Sha'ash. Sit Nart Ye'a.
Nart, Zavora, Yeash.
Nart Kuzavawa Ye'ash. Sit Hacha.
Saat yakım.
Fresh.
Sa'af Kwesh. Sa'af Ye'aqam. Nart Sa'af Kwesh. Awa Ye'aqam. Hashqa? Okay. Kat Yijiri. Who else? Mechabarim Yisr is in the story.
Deri.
Kat?
Deri.
Abrej.
Abrej, yeah.
Abrej. Mechabarim Yis. Abreg. Abreg Sit.
Abreg, Hash.
Abreg Hash. Abreg Hash. Mta. Kat Yijiri Mechabarim Yisr.
Very. Very.
Very.
Robot.
Sarash.
Sarash.
Azra? Sasaha.
Hawa.
Hawa.
Sasa Terminator.
Hawa.
Robot.
Sasa robots.
Robots.
Sasa robots. Khonsta. Okay. Ramsey. In your own words, using only Circassian, tell me what's going on in the story. Is Ramsey still with us? Did he drop off?
Oh yeah, sorry, I was on mute.
Okay.
Not Nachik Shish, not Chalish, not Gwazavagoyish, and not, hold on, not Se'ef Ye'akim, best not Se'ef Khwesh.
Awa Nart Se'afwish.
Yes.
Paj. Dimaza. Wowi psachacha, in your own words, Qadja'a, tell us, Zagwar mechabarim tehuawa, something about the story. Wipsachacha, Qadja'a, Zagwar mechabarim tehuawa. Tell us something about the story.
Nart z guzavego yiash. Nart jalesh. Nart nalchik shial. Argoru. Nart psaf khwesh.
Nart psaf ye'a.
Ha'a. Nart psaf ye'akim.
Paj. Hamza. What do we psachacha? Qadja'a zagwar mechabarim tehuawa. We maqr zakat khatqam. Mute qawnshif.
Nart shalash. Nart nalchik sha'ash. Nart guzavago ye'ash. Nart psa'af ye'aqam.
Nart guzavago kwe.
Hawa.
Sit where? ست خوير نارت.
بسقف نارت بسقف خويش.
تمام تمام. نلقون
Mhm.
وبساعتك قد جاء زقور مخبارم تيوخواوا.
نارت نالشي قالم شش نارت شالش نارت بوزافيغو ياش نارت شالي افش اوه ار بسقف يأكل.
تمام تمام. هادي
ست
وري زقور قد جاء وبساعتك مخبارم تيوخواوا.
نارت نالچكم شعش نارت قزواكو يأش نارت بسقف يأقم نارت بسقف خويش.
تمام تمام. نارت جدوية.
هوا
نارت حيئة.
ده
نارت
نارت
حيئة.
أبرك هش
أبرق هج.
يا هاش
هج هج. ستناي إسحاق. Are you related to Satanai Ishaq in California?
No, but I know her.
Okay, she's my cousin.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I know
she's
her because she lived in Abu Dhabi.
yeah, she's lived everywhere.
Yeah.
Arashi, wari مخبارم تيوخواوا زقور قد جاء.
نارت قزربغوا يأش نارت بسقف يأقم نارت بسقف خوش
نارت روبات.
هوا نارت شالش
وصالة.
هوا سخجبس
وخجبز هج هج. براك وري قد جاء زقور مخبارم تيوخواوا.
نارت شعلش نارت نالشش شأش نارت جزوغ يأش نارت بسقف يأقم أو بسقف خويش.
بج. سعاد.
ست.
وري زقور مخبارم تيوخواوا قد جاء.
نارت شالش نارت جوزفور يأش نارت بسقف يأقم نارت بسقف خويش نارت نالشك شأش نارت حج يأش أبرق حم يتصر.
نارت خجبز.
نارت شالش.
نارت ايلة.
نارت ايلب.
ايلب.
بساسب ايلة.
Sorry, Abazak, that was upset for us. In Abazak, they use Aile to be boy as well. And she speaks Abazak. I speak a little bit of Abazak. Lalina.
ست.
يشبخ دشة. What is a قد جاء مخبارم تيخواوا.
نارت شارت سوق نارت نوشك شأش نارت جوزافو يأش أربسيف خويش أو بسأفيا يأكم.
Woof, yep. ما فوقهم خدوا بسنش وبسلفرة. You speak fast like a choo-choo train.
So.
What quad slander and I'll check with Sha'a.
It's just
Ехасиш? Ты тоже говоришь по-русски?
Да.
Да, конечно, конечно. Пекан, Темиркан.
Sıt.
Фари زقورق جاء مخبارم تيخواوا.
ده صراحة مورا.
زر يابو نخجر يتانا نخشر.
ونش نارج شالش نارج كوزبا يأش بس يم بس أفوي نارج هاي هاي أبريد بيتزا أبريد
طيب ينخشر.
Naç. Çara. Naç.
غشتا في إكرانر. I think their screen froze.
Maybe they're disconnected.
Yeah. Okay, we'll come back to them. Amani,
أنت
what is a قرق جاء مخبارم تيوخواوا?
أنت نارتش آلش نارت نارتش شاش نارت گزاورا ياش گزاجور نارت سقف يأقم نارت سقف خوي.
تمام. ستناي هبراك.
Sorry.
وري زقورق جاء مخبارم تيوخواوا.
Naç alitsuch and not nalchich shiesh. Not hatsukish. Arts average. Not guzavahoyish. Because not CF where how not CF يقم.
تمام. Albert.
Het was een goeie Janky.
Sa أخش كود سخويش.
Sorry, ze was ga ze goed.
هاتش أنا قوم فيديو تغاون شفن شريد هاد لجنش أخش.
Okay.
يجبستوس زرخوير أوستمي. ويبساثجا قد جاء زقورمت خبارم تيوخواوا.
Okay. Nalt was een wel wat zoek years. Be psf خويش أو يقم.
نار دنز الشعر. نار دنز الشعر.
نار تشين شوب صوص.
شوب صوب.
سوغا يا.
وغورا جتاقم مخبارم جي عاقم أبودو. دوسا بالشقص أو تشاركم بالشبسومة.
That's true.
You're taking big liberties with this story, buddy. All right.
Quick question before you go on. Back in the homeland, do they shorten or abbreviate qim to im? I say im a lot instead of qim.
Yeah, everywhere.
Oh, okay.
So I learned I did not grow up speaking this language. I don't know if any of you guys know this. Until I was in my mid-30s, I did not speak one word of Circassian. I'm completely self-taught. And I still make mistakes. I learned by reading. I still learn by reading. So the way my wife says this, the way my kids say this, the way a lot of people say this in homeland and in diaspora, if they say, I don't know, they say something. The way Su'ad says it is shut up. Shut up. So, but the way, regardless of how you say it, it's always spelled the same way. And the way it's spelled is the way I say it. And there are many people who will say it like this. I will say this is more like fusha. This is more like if you watch the newspaper, if you watch radio, if you listen to radio, or if you watch television, they will speak the way I am speaking. So they will say sarqam, sarqam. Right? So in everyday language, it's very common for people to drop the si'am, si'am, something, something. But the way I say it is the way it's written, si'aqam, sarqam. Right? So that's the way I'm teaching you. That way, right now, we're not using the formal Circassian alphabet, but once we get into the formal Circassian alphabet, there's no ambiguity. Everything you see, you hear. Right? So that's why I'm teaching you guys to speak the way I speak. Okay. So before I go on, I have a couple questions. We have in the class right now, 18 people. Please unmute yourselves. I want to have a little bit of a conversation. We'll do it in English. So I think this is class number 4, right? It's either class 3 or class 4. So we're 1 month in. What is it? Class 4?
4.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're 1 month in. It's class 4. This is approximately 6 hours of time.
جنتي وزبزودن سوباون دي انترنت القدري يا
القرآن بخدو تقش ومغزابة بش حتى يا غتشن قم بديش Arashi, I'll say this in English and then I'll say it in Circassian so that our 2 little brothers in Stuttgart can understand. Their father can translate for them. Marash sasi whoops or siqash yidje zamazatsa maklasikar taqash psore zakato ar sahati khwash Arashi marash sasi whoopsar داوقف شخرة ففي confidence داوقف شخرة نخ confidence في نخ في بساثة نخ تمامز قخوة. So in 6 hours of time, how do you feel about your confidence in speaking? Do you feel more comfortable? Do you feel like you're able to construct words and sentences and understand vocabulary? Do you feel like you have a handle on, do you feel like you've made improvement? I just want to open this up for conversation. Anybody and everybody, you can just share, good or bad. I want to hear all the feedback because my goal is not to walk away, say, oh, I did a good job. My goal is to walk away. Suad works with me. We have about 10 Circassians that are working to create this system, this method. We really want to hear good feedback, bad feedback, positive, negative. We want to hear everything. So I'm really curious how people are feeling now, 6 hours into learning Circassian.
I think it's great. I think you're doing a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel much more comfortable when speaking in Circassian. Thank you very much for your effort.
Okay.
It was good for me also, and I had a conversation with my mother actually, and I had the chance to tell her words that she didn't know, which was nice. But also I would like to, if these classes were more frequent, I think it will be better for us so that we can construct or build on the other class faster or in a more frequent way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
I have an answer for that. That's a very good piece of feedback. How about other people? Do you feel like what I try to balance is there's 2 things that I'm trying to balance. Well, more than 2 things. If we go faster, we cover more material, but you're not absorbing it. If we go slower, you have more of a chance for this material to really get into your head and to feel it and to own it and to speak it with confidence. So I'm always trying to balance these 2 things. And I guess really what I'm asking for is, do you feel like you are making meaningful improvements, meaningful progress? That's the real question.
Definitely.
I think it's a great,
Yes, yes, of course.
Yeah.
and I
Yes,
think the pace is
definitely.
great.
Okay,
It helps it stick for
Okay.
sure. We're all busy, we have work and kids, and so I know it's a bit slow paced, but it helps it stick.
okay. And then I know
Exactly.
we're only meeting once a week, but from 1 week to the next, do you feel like you remember things or do you feel like it's brand new all over again?
No, I remember. I remember.
I remember. I think the WhatsApp group also helps, you know,
Yeah.
because
I think
I
it's
wasn't
a
learning.
review of last week, and then you add a little more stuff.
Yep. Well, that's what we're doing, right? I
Yeah.
start each class, chet nart, then sha'a, right? We go through all those things. So, okay. So that's all very helpful feedback. The speed is good. In my other, for those of you who watched my Wednesday class, I experimented with more content and it freaked people out. It was just way too much. So I didn't do that experiment here. That video is online if you want to go watch it. The method that we're using, just so you guys are aware, there's two ways that people will study a language. One is to learn the language. The other is to acquire the language. And what the research shows is that learning is a conscious act. It is basically the act of memorization. And when you memorize something, you can forget it. So I can memorize a phone number and then I can forget the phone number. But when we acquire knowledge, it's like learning to ride a bicycle. Once you learn how to ride a bicycle, you can never unlearn it. Once you learn how to walk from point A to point B and your brain says, oh, the tree is there, you never forget that type of information because you didn't study it, you acquired it. So the method that we're using here is designed not for study, but for acquisition, for you to acquire the language, right? And that's why from 1 week to the next, you don't have to memorize or remember. It's in your head because in this class, we're going very slowly, but you are, oh, nart shanas, shana means nart, nart haqam, nart khajabsqam. It's getting into your brain. It's sticking in your brain. Regarding 2 times a week, what I would love is to have a beginner, intermediate, and advanced class. And I'd love for them to meet 2 times in a week. And I think that would be perfect if we did 90 minutes for Zoom, for groups. Like it feels like 90 minutes is perfect. 1 hour is just not enough time. 90 minutes is great because I can drop you guys into the breakout rooms at least 2 times. And there's enough time for us to go and do all the repetition and everything like that. I just scaled back my Monday. I'm running out of time. I scaled back my Monday class and I just made it Wednesday. And then we have the Saturday class, but it's in the morning for me, but it's evening for many of you, right? So I don't know how to do a weekday class in the United States that would be working for me, that would also work for you because I have work during the day. So those are the things we're trying to figure out. The other thing we're trying to figure out is like, you know, I'm the first person experimenting. We have Suad, we have Lydia, we have Zalina, we have another 6 people who are part of our working group. So one of the reasons like Suad is watching is to say, how can, and Zalina and Lydia, how can they become teachers too? And, you know, they are teachers. I think Suad also teaches sometimes. I'm the only person who's not a teacher, but this is a different method. It's a very, very different method. So that's the answers to those questions. All right, before we get back into the material, any other feedback, questions, comments, ideas, suggestions, criticisms?
I'm having problems with the prefixes.
With the, okay, you're having problems with the prefixes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll come back to that. Anybody else?
I'd like
No,
to
I
add
think
one
learning.
positive comment,
Yeah.
Janti, which is, sorry,
Go ahead.
the
Let's
WhatsApp group.
everybody, I'm sorry, everybody who still wants to ask a question, put up, the little, put up your little hand and the emoticon. And
How do you
I'll
do
come
that?
to you. How do you do
Find
that?
it.
Yeah.
Let me stop sharing so we can see each other. What you want to do, Where do you do it?
Reactions.
Reactions. You see a little smiley face with a plus.
Okay.
All right. So who was talking first, though? Somebody, whoever was talking, go ahead and please keep talking.
Hamza.
Okay, thank you. Just a positive note. I think the WhatsApp group has definitely increased my confidence because for a long period of time, I haven't spoke to, my mom speaks the Gabza, but being an expat, we don't really, when we have a call, we don't really speak unless we're talking something we want to hide, but we do that. So the WhatsApp group is amazing. And I would love to everyone to give feedback, because I think if you would give feedback on every single person, that's a lot. But I can see in the WhatsApp group there are so many good speakers, which is great. We're hearing how they evolve a simple story to something really rich, which is very, very positive to me, the WhatsApp group.
Okay. Let's go next to Satanai. Thank you, Hamza, for your comments. Let's go next to Satanai, Hubrak.
Yes. I just wanted to say that I came here and I didn't want to learn how to read, only how to speak. But now I know how to read. I don't know how, but I'm reading better. I never tried even to learn. And I have to learn French, and I went to the institute for that. And I think I made more progress in Circassian than I ever made in my French classes. So, yeah.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Let's go next to Hadi.
I have some knowledge of Circassian because my family speaks it, but I need to get my confidence. So when I try to speak right now, adrenaline rushes and I confuse things. So it's really good that we are going slow and acquiring things. I think it would be good if we can arrange like different Zoom sessions that people can get together and practice. It would really help, I think. It wouldn't be a structured way or more monitored way. Just whoever wants to joins, and we can socialize and speak, try to practice. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Good feedback. Amani.
Yes, I wanted to know if there is a way to learn the letters, the alphabet, on our own.
Yes.
Because a lot of the conversations in the WhatsApp group, which were very important, were in Cyrillic letters, and I think we need to learn to know them. So if there's a way to learn these Cyrillic letters sooner, or our own.
So I just dropped into the chat my tutorial on YouTube on how to learn the alphabet. There's 2 parts, and altogether it's less than 20 minutes. So you can use that. I am working. So based on the feedback that I'm seeing in this class, I'm actually going to redevelop some of these materials. And I'm going to start with what I call an A0 class. A0 is going to be to teach the reading. So what I want to do is have a 0 level class where I teach the alphabet, but I don't teach the alphabet just so that you know letters. I teach you alphabet and vocabulary and basic phrases. So just like we do in this class, I'm not teaching you words to memorize. I'm giving you a story and the words make sense. So I want to apply that to, and you'll see I do some of this in the current YouTube video. I teach you words, like for example, I'll give you a very simple example. I break the alphabet into 4 or 5 different groups. The first group looks like English, sounds like English. So as an example, the first letter in that group is it looks like the letter A. Okay. But then I'll teach you the word for ad, father. So it's a useful word, father. And I'll use the word Anna. So that's another very useful word, right? So in that way, I'm teaching you the alphabet, but I'm also teaching you what are called high frequency words, words that are very useful. So what I'm going to do, I want to redevelop that course. I want to bring everything into it and then not just teach you these basic words, but teach you very simple phrases like mir si anas. This is my mother. And mir is only 4 letters long. It's 3 letters long. Si is 2 letters long. Ana is 3 letters long. So I give you very, very short words, but very useful words that then combine to make very useful expressions. Mircianas, right? And then I'm going to build in so you can say even more useful things. Mirciana disas. This is my golden mother, right? So we can start building, because what we're trying to do is build building blocks. So you can look at this video for now, but I'm going to be redeveloping this in the future. And also, I'm building an online educational platform where I have a small team that's working with me right now. It'll be like lynda.com or Coursera or Udemy, where you'll log in and it'll say, here's chapter 1, 2 minutes long. Here's chapter 2, 8 minutes long. So that will be a supplement to this, so that even though I can't teach 5 days a week, there'll be other materials that are there.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay. So in the final 15 minutes, we're going to experiment with another part of the class. This went okay in the last class. I'm going to try it here as well. And I call this story time. So let me share my screen again.
John T, before we come to the, can I just make a quick comment as well, since you've asked everyone?
Yeah.
Sure. Well, over the past 3 decades almost, I mean, I've been to, or I've observed so many language classes, mostly in Turkey, but elsewhere as well. I have to say, not in terms of the materials only, but also the way that the teacher, well, in this case, you, approaches the students, understands the issues, if you like, of new learners, or those who are at intermediate level and other different levels. Because you've been there, done that, you do understand everyone here, basically, because you've gone through all these stages. I think that's very, very important in terms of making the students feel relaxed. Because when it comes to teaching Circassian, many teachers, I've noticed, they become so serious. Sometimes they become so uptight. Obviously, we understand we know Circassian culture. Things are a bit uptight. Everything is, we do understand the order of things, but times have changed. So if you approach this from that serious point of view, if you like, people do walk away slowly without saying anything about it. They just get disenchanted, if you like, disheartened, just walk away without giving you any feedback on it. But in this case, the first 4 lessons, I think they've been the greatest so far that I've seen, I've observed. So that's credit to you. Well, thank you very much. Obviously, there are technical matters to be discussed, but this is an important aspect. In fact, perhaps this is the most important aspect, I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you as well. Thank you as well. All right. So we are now going to go into, this is a little bit of an experiment, and I call this story time. All right. So all I want you guys to do is listen. If you want, put your microphone on mute, and you can practice pronunciation, and you can practice reading as well. Okay. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to do a cold read. Then I'm going to do a gloss translation. Then I'm going to do a warm read. All right. So I'm going to go through this 3 times. All right. And I moved you guys to my other screen. So that's why you see the side of my face, so I can see this screen a little bit better. Okay. So put yourselves on mute. Practice, if you want to practice the pronunciation and the reading. I'm going to do a cold read, a gloss translation, and then a warm read. Okay. All right. The cold read. Zagwaram, pashteh quashim, Zirapstu. Zirapstu. Handrquaqum. Handrquaqum. Jri'ash. Jri'ash. Ab. Ab. Sabi. Sabi. Yawatinu. Pashtih hamra. Pashtih hamra. Pashtih quashimra. Pashtih quashimra. Abhudizcha. Gufati. Gufati. Gufawamash mahwashwa. Gufawamahwashwa. Yasunu. Zagurwash. Zagurwash. Abiham. Abiham. Hurkhajabs. Hurkhajabs. Ghurlua. Ghurlua. Ble. Ble. Qaraghablaghash. Qaraghablaghash. Awa. Hurkhajabs. Hurkhajabs. Wughrsisri. Wughrsisri. Qaquri. Qaquri. Sabiyam. Yabghash. So that's the cold read. Now I'm going to do a gloss translation for you guys. Zagwaram. Zagwaram. Once. Pashtih. Pashtih. King. Guasha. Queen. Or princess. Pashtih Guasham. Queen. Zirapstu. Zirapstu. She was taking a bath. Handraqaqwa. Frog. Handraqaqam. The frog. Ja'an. To say. Jri'an. To tell. Qjri'ash. He told her. Ab. She. Sabi. Baby. Ghatin. To find. Ghatinu. Will find in the future. Yighatinu. She will find in the future. Zagwaram. Pashtehquasham. Zirapstu. Handraqwaqam. Qjri'ash. Ab sabi yighatinu. Once a queen was taking a bath and a frog told her she would find a baby. In Circassian, we don't say she's going to have a baby. We don't like to talk about reproduction. We just say, we do this in fairy tales in English too. You know, they found a baby in the woods, you know, or the bird brought the baby to the parents. Pashtahmra, the king, and this ra means and. Pashtahmra, the king, and Pashtahquashimra, the queen, and. So whenever we say and in Circassian, we do it. There's a couple ways you can say and here. Pashtahmra, Pashtahquashimra. We say the king and the queen and. That's just how we do it. Abhudizcha. Okay. Let me. Hudiz. How much? Cha. By way of. Abhuda. That way. Abhudizcha. So much. Gu. Heart. Fa. Anytime you see fa, it means good. Gufa. Good-hearted. Gufati. They were so good-hearted and they were happy. Gufati, gufan. Gu, we just said, heart. Fa means good. Wa means time. Gufawa, good time. Mahwa, day. Shwa, it's a suffix. It means it's big. Mahwashwa. Gufawa, good, really good time. Mahwashwa, big day. Gufawa, mahwashwa, big celebration. Big party, big celebration, day of celebration. Sun, to do or make. Sunu, to do or make in the future. Yasunu, they will do or make in the future. Gu, heart. Gurwen, two hearts come together to understand or to come to an agreement. Gurwas, they understood, they come to an agreement. Za, they did it with each other. Za gurwas. Pashtah hamra, the king and, pashtah quashimra, the queen and, abhudizja gufati, they were so happy. A big day of celebration. Yasunu, they will make. Zagurwash, they decided, they came to an agreement, they came to an understanding. Abucham, ab, him, her, or it. Abucham, they or them. Hurchajebs, fairy. Hurchajebs, chajebs is girl. Hurchajebs, fairy. Ghurlua, kind. Bl, 7. Let me think about this. Okay. Blara. Blara is family. Blara is family. Rablaran, to invite to your family. Qararablarash. Qararablarash means they invited, but the word here comes from the word for family. So when I say to you all, Qiblara, or you hear somebody say Qiblara, the root of that is come join our family. That's how warm the invitation is in Circassian. Qiblara, Qiblara. The root there is blara, blara. It's family. Qiblara, join our family, to invite. Here, qara, whoops, qara, they did it. Rablarash, they invited. They invited 7 fairies. Awa, however, hurchajebs, again, the word fairy. This is a hard word. Wugrasisri, evil. We don't really have a word for evil. Evil is a very hard word in Circassian, but you can think of this as evil. Quen, qua, to go or come. Qaqwa, to come. Qaquri, came and, comes and. Sabim, the baby. Bra, cursed. Brash, cursed in the past tense. Yebrash, she did it. Okay. Abichum, hurchajebs, urlua, they, 7 fairies, good fairies. Gle, 7. Qararablarash, invited. Awa, however. Hurchajebs, fairy. Wursisri, evil. Qaquri, came and. Sabim yebrash, cursed the baby. Okay, so that's the gloss reading. And now the warm reading. Okay, so Zagwaram pashtehwashim zirapstu handraqwaqon qajri as abisabiyottino pashtehwashimra pashtehwashimra abhudist abufati wufawama washwa yasunu zagurwas abiham hurchajebs gurlua ble qararablagash awa hurchajebs wukhrsisri qaquri sabiyam yebrash. All right, so let's bring you guys back over here. All right, you can come off mute. What did you guys think of story time?
Very good.
I
To me.
You make very useful analysis. Thank you
Okay.
for the efforts again. You
So-
analyze the verbs, the verbs also. It's very useful. Thank you very much, Yanti.
Okay. Was it helpful for reading? Was it helpful for vocabulary? What
Understanding also, yes.
understanding? Okay.
Mhm.
And structure.
Describing.
Okay. Is there anybody who does not like story time?
Oh, I think.
Okay. So we have just a minute or two. Let me just ask. Chet zirapscha.
Pashtik washer.
Hashtag washen zirapscha. Chet abizgwar ujri'a. Handrqaqwa. Handrqaqwam sit ab ujri'a.
صبي يغتنوا.
Sabi yugtunu.
يغتنوا.
Okay. Pashtah washem chet abish hawsr.
Pashtik washer.
تشتح.
Pashtahm.
Pashtih.
Pashtah. Pashtahmra. Pashtah washemra. Sit yas'a.
وفاغوة.
Wufawwa. Pashtahmra. Pashtah washemra. Nashkhe. Nashkhe. Awa. آخر ست. كفاتي. كفاتي. مو قف أو مخوشكوا خت راغبلغا.
خرخ جبس.
خرخ جبس. دابشة.
بلا.
بلا. نمش خت قاقوا.
غرسسي. غرسسي.
غرسسري.
غرسسري.
أقواش. غرسس هجابزري هجابز ورنوة أقواش.
مو خرخ جبس وخرسسري ست يسعى.
سبي يبلاش.
سبين يبغاش.
يبغاش.
So eventually this is where we're going to go with TPRS. Eventually this is where we're going to go. We're going to go into stories like this. And once this is part of the secret formula. Once you understand the story, you are free to play with the words. In a lot of other programs or whatever, you don't understand the story and you don't understand the words. So you have a double confusion. But here, you guys understand the story so well that when I ask you the questions, you can answer me. And because all the words are on the screen, you can construct grammatically correct answers.
Yes.
For those of you who can read. Okay. All right. Let me stop sharing. All right. So the class is officially over. I will stick around for 5 minutes for anybody who has questions. Albert, I know you had a question about prefixes, so I'm happy to dive into that. If anyone else, if you want to leave, have a good day. Thank you for coming. Alhamdulillah, we'll see you next week. I'll post the video on YouTube. If you want to stick around for a few minutes because you have questions, use your little emoticon to put up your hand so I can call on you and answer your questions. Albert, when you said you have problems with prefixes, give me an example of what you're talking about?
Oh boy, it's like during that story, like the prefixes used in that story, I wouldn't have been able to come up with those prefixes.
I got it. Okay. So I know what you're talking about. There's two types. So let's call them all affixes. Okay, because in Circassian, there are prefixes and there are suffixes. Prefixes come before the word, affixes come after the word, but collectively we can call, suffixes come after the words, but we can call them all affixes. So an affix, it comes before, it comes after, it doesn't matter. So first of all, you see these in verbs. You only see these in verbs. Well, let me take a step back. Circassian is called a polysynthetic language. And what that means is that we have lots of consonants and very small number of vowels. And it's a good and a bad thing. What's good about it is we can easily construct words and we can modernize our language. And even if you've never seen those words before, you can understand them. What's bad about it is because of that, there are many words you'll never see in a dictionary. So for example, if I were to say to you, could you help me? That is written as one word. It is written as one word, and I'll break it down for you. Wu, you. Qiz, in my direction. The apuk, to help. F'nu, able to. Are you able to help me? Can you help me? Okay, so that's an example of a polysynthetic word. We see this with nouns. So the word for bicycle, по-русски велосипед. In Arabic, بسكليت, right? And adigabza, ثاقورغاز. So if you've never heard that word before, you know ثاقوا is feet. يرغزن is to go around in a circle. ثاقورغاز, it's a bicycle because your feet are going around in a circle, right? So that's an example where you will find in a dictionary very easily. So these are examples of where we take word roots to construct bigger words. And sometimes we do this with word roots. So mahwa is day. Shwa at the end, it's a noun. Shwa at the end of any noun makes it big. So mahwashwa is a holiday. It's a big day. It's a holiday. Okay. Sala is a boy. Salaz, old boy. Is a man. Is old man. Z makes anything old, right? So there is the construction of larger nouns through word roots by combining word roots or by putting affixes, usually suffixes, at the end of something. Okay, making sense so far?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one component of it. Now let's talk about verbs. In Circassian, there are transitive verbs and intransitive verbs, just like in English. I think. What do I think? My thinking does not do anything. I eat. What do I eat? I eat the apple. Once I'm done eating the apple no longer exists. So eat is a transitive verb, and thinking is not transitive. There are verbs that can be both transitive and intransitive, right? So for example, let me think of an example. Oh, eat, I can use it again. I am eating. I'm eating, okay? I didn't tell you what I'm eating. So my eating is not in this sentence doing anything to something else. But when I eat the apple, it does something to the apple disappears because I ate it, right? I'm reading. All right, well, I'm not doing, but if I read a book, I'm changing that book because I'm consuming the information in that book. This is the same in English. We have transitive verbs, we have intransitive verbs, and we have verbs that can be either transitive or intransitive. Now, some of these verbs, it's kind of complicated. They drop into different categories. Almost every verb will have a pronounal prefix that stands in front of it that shows who is doing the action. And this is remarkable because if I say in Circassian, sa sokwa, right? I say I, sa, but then the verb contains all the information that the entire sentence would have contained otherwise. So, qua. So I can just say so qua, I'm going. So the verb there is qua, quen, to go, quen, but I always have to say so qua. If you are going, wukwa, wukwa, not wo, but wukwa. And then if I say he is going, ar ma kwa. If I say we are going, the do kwa. If I say you plural are going, fa fo kwa. And then if I say they are going, akhir ma kwa. Okay, so that's one example, but every verb in Circassian, every verb has a pronounal prefix that goes with it. Sometimes for he, she, it, or they, there is no pronounal prefix. It's just nothing. Okay, so that's part of what you're seeing. Sasokwa, wowokwa, armakwa, right? That's part of the prefix that you're seeing. Now, let's talk about suffixes. If I say, I'm coming back, sa, so kwaj. I put aj at the end of that verb. It means I'm doing it in reverse. Sa, so kwaj. When I see you guys for the first time in class, I say, qiblara. When we come back from the breakout rooms, what do I always say to you? Qablaraj. Welcome back, right? So what you're seeing is a suffix that comes at the end. Now, there's a handful of very common suffixes, okay? So for example, are you able to do it? Can you speak? Can you eat? When I add thinu into the end suffix, it means are you able to do it, right? If you came, if you were able to come. So these are examples of some of the suffixes. The suffixes typically change the state of the verb. Now you have prefixes as well. And there's a bunch of these prefixes, but generally speaking, when you see q, it means that the verb is doing something to someone else, or the verb is delivering action in a certain direction. So, ja'an, to say. Qja'a, say to me. Qja'a, say to me. Psathan, to speak. Psatha, talking. Sopsatha, I am talking. Sa sopsatha, I am talking. Qzapsatha, tell me. Tell me. Okay. So that's part of it. The other thing that you'll see, and I use the word qan as a great example, qua, to go. And this is, there's complexity and there's simplicity. Qua, go. In English, how do we say send? It's a different word. Go is go. Send is send. They look different. They sound different. They're spelled different. We think of them as different. In Circassian, yaraqwan, to send. Ya means it's a transitive verb. You're doing it to something else. Ra, you have to put ya and ra together. Yaraqwan, send him. Abe to quanum yaraqwa, send him to the store. Okay. And then there's a couple of other ones. Swa, do it for me. Salam squikij, salam squikij, salam squikij, pass along my regards. Pass along my salam. Hua means you're doing it on behalf of or for someone else. Makhabaram qasweja. Makhabaram, this story. Qas, in my direction. Qaswe, in my direction, on my behalf. Yajja, read. Qasweja, read this story to me. Okay. The
That's
last
helpful.
one. It's helpful.
What you're explaining is helpful. Like the is towards me. I didn't realize that. Yeah.
The last one that you'll see or hear in common speech is zara. Zara means by way of. Okay. How would I know that? How did your day go? Every morning I see my kids. How did you sleep? Right. So these are some. There are dozens of them. There are dozens of them. Some are more common, some are less common, but this is what you're seeing. And this is why reading is so important. I can get all of you to a basic conversational level without using the alphabet. Most of you are already there. Most of you are already at the basic conversational level, but there's grammatical mistakes, or you're confusing this word for that word, or you don't know if it's sla or sha or tsla, right? So that's why reading is so important. By reading, you can expose yourself to a lot of different grammatical structures. You can expose yourself to a lot of different words. And that's why reading is so critical. Once you start reading and seeing all the structure that I'm talking about, it'll make sense to you over time.
Is there anything, simple stories, easy stories to read online?
The one that I just showed, that's my, so the one I just showed you, I have about 25 stories that I have had professionally written and translated. We'll be doing more of these. These are also going to be in a online course that I'm building that's just designed for reading. Part of what I'm trying to do is make sure that I'm not breaking anybody's copyright. So there are a lot of Circassian literature stories that I have, and according to Russian law, I can use them because the author has been dead for more than 50 years. So copyright no longer attaches. I'm in the process of getting those out of all of these books and typed up without spelling mistakes and put on the web. That's a very long, slow process. And even in that scenario, the text is complicated. It's not designed for learners. The story that I just read you, the way that those stories were done, I went to a local school and I hired 10-year-olds to tell the story of Sleeping Beauty, right? And I told them the story cannot be more than 150 words. And then I had a professional American editor review it for spelling mistakes. And then I had it translated into Russian and Turkish and Circassian and Arabic. And so that's what we have. And I have all the translations. The translations are done in a manner called parallel texting. So with parallel texting, every word, the grammatical structures are identical across the board. So you can see, like if I say a boy and a girl were walking down the street, if it says that in Circassian, it'll say a boy and a girl were walking down the street. It won't mix the boy and the girl. So you can actually see the structure of the language as well.
Sounds good.
Okay. Any other questions?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nothing from me. Thank you very much, Janti, for today.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank you
All
very
right.
much, John T. Thank you.
Anytime. You guys have a great week.
You also.
All right.
You
Same
too.
to you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Uzun şey, fıkke.